Welcome back to Norfolk Perspectives. Well, June is home ownership month, and we want to talk about home ownership. Yes, even you can own a home. And Sydney Pettiford, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you today?
Pretty good. You're HomeNet home ownership counselor for NRHA.
Yes, sir.
And I've got all kinds of myths I want to throw at you.
Okay, try.
Okay. First of all, more people are renting than ever before, and they're not interested in home ownership.
I think there's a misconception that home ownership is expensive, but it is my experience that most people come out paying less money with buying than they do with rent.
So it really is a financial option to look at living in a house or even a condo.
Absolutely. You throw your money away for a year on end and you have no investment at the end. If you purchase, you're paying that same money, sometimes less, and you have something to show for it.
Okay, I can't afford a house.
Anyone can afford a house. Well, not anyone. If you prepare yourself and it's something that you really, really would want and you work hard for it, then you can afford a house.
Okay, because if you're affording rent, do the math. It's really
Absolutely,
math, right?
Absolutely.
So as a counselor, what kinds of things do you get dealt with? Somebody comes in and says those kinds of things?
Absolutely. I get the people who have just walked in on the street saying, well, maybe I want to buy a house today. Tell me what you can do for me. I personally work with credit, budgeting, finances. I work very closely with a lot of our lending partners in Norfolk to help people afford their houses. So I go through their credit and we repair credit, their budgeting, their finances, the whole nine.
Okay. For HomeNet, is there income qualifications?
There are income guidelines. We do require that you make at least $30,000 a year, and we've just found that with the prices of the houses on the market, the $30,000 is a great guideline. We do have maximum income limits, and I believe that you all have copies of those, or you can find them on our website.
Okay, and that's, I think, something that really kind of pushed, because home ownership is something, when you get into it, you really need to get informed. So a good place to start is your website, right?
Absolutely, www.nrha.us/own/HomeNet.
Okay, and as I was telling you in pre-tape, for many years we rented. I was very comfortable with that. There was somebody else, but my wife kept saying, we ought to, we want to be able to paint our walls the color we want.
Right.
And we want to have some freedom and explore it. And we got possibly our family expanding through grandkids or whatever, so we ought to do it. We did it. And I'm happy we did.
I'm glad.
But there are expenses that go along with owning a home other than just the mortgage.
Right. Of course, all of your utilities are up to you. Anything that malfunctions or has to be repaired is on you. But we have a great program here where you can receive $30,000 as a grant. So it does help to increase your affordability, maybe keep some money in your pocket. So when those expenses do come up, you have that money ready for you.
Okay, let me come over. I got bad credit.
Okay, I can fix that for you.
You can actually, how do you go about doing that?
I don't necessarily like to use the word fix, but
Right.
we can assist you with fixing it yourself. So we'll start with basically pulling a credit report. We'll assess the kind of debt that you have. We'll assess what kind of income that you have to determine what you have available, what resources you have available to put towards repairing your credit. And we just start with the first creditor, and we start making phone calls and making payment arrangements to get those things cleared off your credit.
So kind of getting in position.
Absolutely.
What other kinds of things should somebody do to get in position to buy?
Credit is definitely the major thing. And then making sure that this is something that you want. We talked pre-tape about the 30-year commitment. I don't want you to get in the habit of feeling like you'll be stuck for 30 years because there are ways that you can sell and resell and buy and things like that. But it is a commitment. You can't just go into it and hope within a year that you'll be able to, leave and move.
Okay, what about like buying decisions prior to getting into a home? I mean, should you set a kind of a target to say, okay, I'm going to start looking at trying to buy a house a year from now or 6 months from
Absolutely.
now?
Everyone should have a goal, whether it's home ownership or getting a new job or going back to school. So you set your sights on your goal and you start taking the steps. The first thing is definitely education. You want to start to do your research and find out exactly what it's going to take for you to purchase a house and where to go.
Okay. Now, I have a credit card that's got a zero balance.
Okay.
And I could use a new suit.
Oh, no.
So are those the kinds of decisions you start making?
Absolutely. I always encourage my clients to live their lives normally. Begin to budget, begin to save, because once you purchase your house, you still want to be able to do the things that you enjoy. So I don't want you to only have to be able to work to make your mortgage payment and pay your utilities. You should be able to buy a new suit. Not necessarily a new car, but a new suit. That should be fine.
And I think you just hit on something. It's
right.
Everything in balance.
Everything in balance and everything in its time.
Something tells me, and I don't want to put every mother-in-law at bay, but you're a good person to come to because you're going to deal from an objective, professional viewpoint.
Absolutely.
Rather than as sister-in-law.
Absolutely, but I do, my clients do become friends because we do sit down and we talk about a lot of their personal information. So I am able to sit there with them and say, well, maybe you don't buy the shoes this month. Maybe we save for the shoes and buy them in 2 months versus, just telling them, don't buy the shoes, don't do this, don't do that. So I do try to give them a little bit of wiggle room and let them make the decisions for themselves because at the end of the day, it has to be a priority of their own.
Well, I want to thank you for being there.
Thank you for having
to give us
me.
that kind of support, but also to kind of let us know that it can be a fun opportunity.
Absolutely.
If it's done with balance and with education.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to come back. We're going to talk about the leadership training that you might want to participate in. Stay tuned.